There's people talking about Pan-Africanism at this current point in time,
Shout
but
out
not
to Umar.
the Prince of Pan-Africanism.
Oh my god.
But all right, welcome back, people. This is Sound Bites, the part where we're talking about. Well, we usually talk about the news, music news, things that are happening in the culture. But we're doing this after our Hip Hop 50 of Illmatic, right? Where we're talking about we're in the 90s now of Hip Hop 50, and I'm here. It's DeMar Grant, aka King Grant, and I'm here with Adriel Smiley, aka Adriel Smiley Official, aka the Adriel Smiley, aka which other AdrielSmiley.com.
Yeah.
And we're also here with our producer, Chris and Patient Zero, Adriel. We're in the 90s. We're back in the 90s. I got the 90s, you know, the windbreaker. We got the Timbs on, you know, we got everything. We're back in the 90s.
Yeah, this is apparently the golden era. I say apparently because we weren't really there.
Yeah.
We were born
allegedly.
We were born in the 90s, but we weren't really there. But I thought the 90s so interesting because a lot of how people feel about hip hop now
stems from there.
Stems how they feel about the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's like, which 90s artists are you more connected with? Which 90s artist do you think is better than the other 90s artists? So, well, that was so interesting. Tribe is where I want to start. Like, 91, Low End Theory comes out. Rita Applebaum came out in 90. You know, Scenario, Check the Rhyme.
Right.
And I think some of these songs that I know are part of why I think people think differently about the 90s, because I don't think you know some of these songs if you don't know Tribe.
Right.
I feel like there are people right now who don't know the song Scenario. They probably have heard that.
Yeah, they've heard Scenario.
They've heard it, but they probably don't know the song. Same with Bonita Applebaum. You know, they probably heard references to that, but don't know where that comes from. So I thought that was so interesting because Tribe was absolutely huge at this time.
Yeah, it was, and Tribe was big. Like people were so many people were affiliated, not even fully members of them.
Yeah.
Like Queen Latifah was kind of part of it. Busta Rhymes was a part of it, right? So there's a lot of people coming from Tribe Called Quest, and it was just really cool to see. Like if you go through the music, if you look at their music videos, then you'll see those people. You'll see Busta Rhymes and Queen Latifah in the background or something like that, right? And I think that it's cool to really just see the evolution from 91, because at that time they were just like me and you, basically, right? Nobody was wearing gold chains. Nobody was really they were actually very anti-materialistic.
Oh, for sure. No, that was the Wood Africa chain era.
Yeah, Wood Africa chain. They were wearing like the
kufi.
Yeah, the kufi, right? And they were even like talking about Pan-Africanism.
Yeah,
right.
Yep.
I don't know if they were calling it Pan-Africanism at that time, but that's what.
Don't forget the 5%ers too.
Yeah, and that's what they were rapping about back then. So it's cool to see it evolve from them, because where we are now, nobody's talking about Pan-Africanism. That is not a thing. Not a thing. Definitely not in the music.
Not in the music.
I think there's people talking about Pan-Africanism at this current point in time, but not the Prince of Pan-Africanism.
Oh my god!
But it's not part of the music right now. So I think Tribe is an interesting one because I kind of think that they kind of remind me of like Bone Thugs, where huge, right? Huge. A lot of people collaborate with them. People from Tribe have survived and gone and done other things, right? But like haven't really crossed over into current day.
That was going to be my next point,
right?
Is thinking about the list I have of all these artists from the 90s.
Yeah.
Dre, Wu-Tang, Vanilla Ice, Biz Markie, Sir Mix-a-Lot. I think that so few of these artists like properly crossed over into the 2000s. I think a lot of them their name was still big. I think if you're a big name in the 90s and 2000s, you're still a celebrity. You're still a big name. But in terms of properly crossing over to where they're part of the zeitgeist, very, very few. Dr. Dre is actually one of those who did.
Yeah.
And 92 is kind of where it starts. We mentioned him before on the Straight Outta Compton album. Obviously, he was huge on that.
Yeah.
But this is where it starts, like Nothing But a G Thing, Dre Day, Let Me Ride. Like the Chronicles were like, okay, Dr. Dre's on his own now. He's doing it. You know, so this is really the beginning of it. I think, you know, in the 90s, I think towards the end with his stuff with Snoop and the Chronic, that was really when it's
Eminem.
like, Eminem, 50.
Yeah.
That's really when it's like Dr. Dre's here. But think about 90s Dr. Dre is very, very interesting because NWA, few years prior was still one of the biggest groups ever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like his music, it wasn't as big and he was doing more collaborating. But Dr. Dre, just think of how he's grown in terms of what people think of him now. Like,
yeah, he's
so different.
Yeah, he's got a lot of things happening. I mean, even his performance at the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Right. So he is one of them that has like fully endured.
Oh, people know Dr. Dre is.
Yeah, he's fully endured.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't really say like for a lot of artists, it hasn't really worked out like that. When we think of even something like EPMD.
Yeah.
Right. Or trying to think. Well, if I can't think of you, that's kind of part of the thing.
I would say Mobb Deep is a
Mobb
part
Deep,
of that.
yeah, they didn't really cross over, even though that their rapping style is actually pretty modern. I would say, yeah, it's just like there's some people who did like Busta, but even Busta Rhymes kind of like
Busta Rhymes did, I think, because he did have that moment with "Look at Me Now."
Yeah, Touch It,
Touch It. Yeah. He had some hits in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, but he is definitely a 90s. Like when I think about Busta Rhymes, it's definitely like the music videos and the type of crazy shit he was doing.
You think 90s?
Yeah.
It's interesting. You mentioned like the different content, like Pan Africanism, which I imagine 21 Savage talking about Pan Africanism. Like imagine her loss having Pan Africanism bars. Yeah, because
it was at the forefront of the genre. They were rapping about Pan Africanism.
And I think about this skit they had on the Boondocks where Riley's like, "Where your chains at, nigga? Where your wooden beads at, nigga?" Or Huey's the one who says that.
Yeah. And
it's like that really was what the vibe was in the 90s, where it's like pick a side. Either you're over here doing the street rap, you're a gangster, or you're 5%er Pan Africanism.
Yeah.
And Dr. Dre, we know what side he was on.
Yeah.
And Tribe, we know what side they were on. Wu-Tang, I think, is like the group of the 90s when you think 90s. Even though I think Outkast is the best rap group. Outkast is the best rap group of all time to me. Like that's not even a question. But Outkast made it into the 2000s in a way that Wu-Tang did not.
Yeah.
And Outkast is I think the outlier in what we always talk about when these artists are more poets than musicians. Outkast was like they are definitely both.
Right.
So Wu-Tang. What's your Wu-Tang fandom like? I don't know where you stand on Wu-Tang. Like, are you a big fan? Are you kind of...
I think my Wu-Tang fandom is I have 36 Chambers.
On vinyl?
On vinyl.
Okay.
But that kind of extends to... That's kind of it for my... I mean, I played Def Jam, Fight for New York, and Def Jam
Shout out Def Jam.
Where both of the Method Man and Redman were in it. And I remember Redman's MTV Cribs, which was literally one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Like legitimately my entire life. And I think that that's kind of it. Like I think my attachment to Wu-Tang is not really huge. Like it's cool that they existed as a group and it was a huge, like it was like, what is this, like 6 of them or something, like 6 or 7 of them? And the production style, it was cool. Like, you can see the MF Doom, like their adjacency to MF Doom, right? And this old old kung fu movies being spliced into the samples and stuff like that. So it's cool. But again, it's like it didn't really reach over. Like it hasn't extended. I think who it extended to? Logic. Logic has big reverence for Wu-Tang, right?
For sure.
And he's even included things that like production elements and stuff like that. So I think maybe we didn't do this for the 80s, but thinking about how they've endured and what has been happening at that time and how it's endured over time is actually a really interesting concept.
Yeah, I think too, like a lot of people say Kill Bill was their interest into Wu-Tang. And so it's thinking about stuff like that where the way you hear about an artist now is
way different.
Could be anything.
Yeah.
Literally could be anything. And I think there was a time when you gave someone credit for how they heard about an artist. Like, oh, you heard them on MTV Raps? Well, I went to the record store.
Yeah.
I think that has changed because there's like, to think about hearing about Wu-Tang from a movie sounds crazy now, but there's a lot of people who are huge hip hop fans who that's how they came in. And I think Wu-Tang really reminds me a lot of Brockhampton in the sense that like there's so many members for you to keep up is like
Yeah, RZA, Jizza, both of the mans, Red and Method Man.
Both men. Ghostface.
Raekwon. Like, there's
Expected Deck.
Yeah.
ODB.
Like, there's just a lot of people, bro. Too many people.
And I think they all have their own success as solo artists.
Yep.
And I think everyone has their favorite. Like, some people love Method Man. Like, he is like everything to them. Other people are Ghostface or die.
Yeah.
And so I think that speaks to the level of talent in that group. But how could it be possible to follow all of them? You know, like, how is that really something you can do?
Yeah.
And I think that was what worked against them in terms of them, like, you know, crossing over to the 2000s and to the present. But
I think
their name is still rings.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, huge.
RZA's crossover, I think, Afro Samurai, where he was the person that did the music for Afro Samurai, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, Method Man, you see him all over the place. Redman.
So
Redman is kind of like the most or least visible dude. He's kind of like chilling.
I was gonna say, who would you say is like the most popular right now?
Oh,
like in the present?
Probably RZA. Because
I would say RZA too.
Yeah, because even Rihanna named her son RZA, so I think he's the one that's enduring the most.
How is that not on soundbites? How is that put that in the list?
Oh yeah, how's that not in the list?
You know what's funny? This is how you know celebrities are crazy.
Yeah,
we both saw it and just said
like whatever. We're just like whatever, you know. But you know, because okay, here to tie it all together, ASAP Rocky's first name is Rakim.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
I thought of that. I was like, okay, there's a little tie in there for hip hop.
Yeah, ASAP Rocky's real first name is Rakim.
No, he named after Rakim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I'm going to assume, because we don't know him personally, that is also why his son is named RZA.
As part of the influence?
Yeah, it's like to continue that tradition in a way, right?
So when RZA has a kid, they are gonna have to be named after a rapper that name starts with a R.
Maybe. I don't know, man.
Riff Raff?
Yeah, it's oh my God, Riff. Chris, you should have seen Chris's face.
The fall off going from Rakim to RZA.
Riff Raff. That's insanity.
That's I think it's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
I do like it though, because you know, how many RZAs are there gonna be now that you know, ASAP Rocky and Rihanna's child is named RZA. Like RZA could be the most popular name in America, you know, 14 years from now, whatever it is. So
I know nobody thought Shaquille would be like Shaq, you know, when Shaquille. Jalen. Oh my God, the amount of Jadens.
I saw someone tweet this and it's like, if you are a white woman having a light-skinned child, please do not name your kid Jaden.
Yeah.
We have enough of
We have enough of them. My middle name is Jaden, bro.
Oh, wow. Light-skinned at heart.
There's a million Jalens, etc. Even in the NBA, Jalen Brunson and Jalen Brown.
No, there's so many of them.
Right?
So many of them.
So overall, there's been an endurance. That's what we're trying to say. RZA is probably...
And musically, RZA is still around.
Yeah.
I think musically, the two that I hear from the most, or I would say, is Raekwon and RZA.
Yeah.
I still see Raekwon on a lot of features.
Yeah, that's true.
And Raekwon is still like working with like newer artists all the time, which I think is impressive. But I would still say RZA is that guy. Before we talk about TikTok, of course, TikTok charts, always bumping on album mode.
Yeah.
I'll talk about some one-hit wonders.
Okay.
I always find that so interesting. Someone being one-hit wonder, because how can you even tell? Think about us talking about Ice Spice.
Yeah.
We said that we had some faith.
I did.
But who knows? And, you know, now she's more than a one-hit wonder. Yeah. But at the same time...
Two-hit wonder, baby.
You can say even three. Yeah. You can say three. And I think that the 90s was a time when it was actual sales. Yeah. You know? So someone could be a one-hit wonder and live that for the rest of their life. I think there's an assumption that that's still like that when someone becomes really popular in 2023 and it's like, oh, you had a hit, you're good for life.
Not really.
In the 90s, that was really real. And the first person I think of is Vanilla Ice, because his album sold 10 million copies off of the single Ice Ice Baby. And mind you, Ice Ice Baby is a bop. Do not get it twisted. If Ice Ice Baby comes on and when we're out, I'm rapping every word. Like, don't play any games with me. But the fact that that could turn into more than just that, extremely impressive.
Yeah, because you also had to buy music back then. That was a thing. That is not...
No, like single records, like, you know, 7 inches. Like, yeah, crazy. So it's like, I think it's wild because I think that some of these one-hit wonders, sometimes their names last longer than some of the people we named. Like, how do people think No Tribe versus No Vanilla Ice? Like, it's probably a close number, like, which is crazy to say, but these one-hit wonders, their names, you know.
Yeah, your name kind of rings because the one hit, massive. It can be, you know, exponentially bigger than any classic project. You know what I mean? So
which is wild. Yeah.
So yeah, what else? Who else do you have for one hit wonders?
Biz Markie, Just a Friend. I think I'll see that got redone by Mario. So that's like, you know, on top of that. Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back.
Baby Got Back.
That was one of the first songs I knew all the words to.
Wow.
Crazy song to know all the words to for one of your first. But I also thought about it because you know, they say that music is so sexualized today. And I think about something like Baby Got Back is like that being a huge song.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Baby Got Back got some kids, okay? There's Miss New Booty with Call It Park, Bubba Sparks.
Oh, yeah.
There's Moneymaker with Ludacris and Pharrell.
Bootylicious by Beyonce.
Bootylicious by Beyonce. WAP, I will put WAP in the Baby Got Back category.
Yep.
So clearly there's an appetite. If you got a really song that's about some sexual body parts, you put that together and you might have yourself a hit. So
it's Bootylicious by Destiny's Child. Sorry. I don't want to offend.
You meant what you said.
I don't want to offend.
You meant what you said. By Beyonce.
I'm here. If you have the camera on me, you hear me scrambling. I'm like, hold on. It's like
we don't want that beehive smoke.
Yeah,
that little sky smoke.
Oh my God.
Okay. That beehive smoke.
Please no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's all I have for 90s one-hit wonders. Let's talk about a song that is out right now.
Yeah.
DaBaby, Shake Something. Before we even get into what you have, because I'm excited for you to set this up for everyone. What did you think of the song when it came out? Tell me about that before you get into all of this. What do you think about the actual song when you heard it?
No, I didn't have a thought about it. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I heard the song Shake Something and I was like, okay. I guess. But what happened was there's this Repo man on TikTok. His name is Repo Reaper.
Okay.
Right? And I don't know what happened on TikTok, but his shit is going like, I want to say viral to semi-viral where I feel like every day I open the app for like the past week or week and a half, I see his face.
Oh, the algorithms got you.
But now it's to the point where people are making TikToks being like
copying his TikTok?
No, not even copying me, like, you know, when I'm like chilling in my room and then I hear the song come on.
Oh, that's so funny.
And they're like looking out the window and people like running out of their house, you know? So it's even spawning its own like micro trend, right? But that song, Shake Something by DaBaby, is like the theme song to his entire account, basically. And then by extension, that trend.
Yeah, it's like all his videos.
It's like all his videos. So I'm like, hold on a second. This guy is about to revive DaBaby's career in front of our eyes.
That is so
because
funny.
It's catching on a little bit, right? It's starting to catch, right? Where even the guy, the New Jersey dancer, I can't remember his name right now, who's also dancing to it. And I'm like, no way this is about to fuel his comeback. Like, I can't believe that this shit is happening. And I get it, it's a dance, and TikTok loves dances. It loves instructions.
I want to give DaBaby his credit for this reason, because how I heard the song was he had Kai Cenat do it on one of his streams. And I saw a video of Kai dancing to it.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, this song is whatever to me.
It's okay. Like, let's be honest here. It's okay.
It's a reach,
Yeah.
but it's like, okay, you know, I can get how you can get some influencers to dance to this. I can understand it. And you know, lo and behold, this Repo influencer is making videos to it. But my favorite thing is that the videos people are making, like replying to his video or like imitating his videos, is like when they hear the song, I think the Repo Man is coming.
Yeah.
That is so funny to me. Like, there's one that you put in the chat where a woman is like, oh, I heard the song, check out size, make sure my car is still there. It's like, that's so perfect. So I think we gotta give DaBaby some credit. I think DaBaby did the right thing with this song, trying to bring himself back. Because I do feel like this is something that can bring him back in a way that he maybe couldn't have done on his own.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see because this song actually is not that good.
It is. It really isn't. It really isn't. But that section, which is the essence of TikTok, you just catch it's working in reverse.
Yeah.
Where you can be a new artist and just have a hot 15 seconds in your song, and that it could go viral, and then that could be the blow up for your career. For him, it's like the song kind of sucks, but we got a good 15 seconds. Let's see if we can revive the career. Because I don't want to say DaBaby's career is dead. But he is no longer part of like a public conversation or public eye when it comes to his music, his art.
Yeah.
And he kind of did. He kind of did that to himself.
100%.
But I would say people have done worse in the genre and have recovered.
For sure.
Right. The amount of people that have cases, like legitimate cases, gone to jail for shit. People kill people. In the genre, people have said worse things, done worse things, have recovered.
Yes.
Right? I'm not saying I condone any of those things.
No, but he's not toast.
But I'm saying it's recoverable.
Yes.
Right? So it's interesting to watch it happen. Because this song's not that good. It's not really that good.
It's wild.
It's not that good.
It's wild to see. I do like this guy's videos, though. I do think they're interesting.
Yeah, the videos are interesting too. So he's also like, he doesn't give a fuck at all. Like the amount of people that he like interacts with this like confrontational, and he's just like, I'm just here doing my job. I don't give a fuck. Is just an interesting concept,
The question I gotta ask in the comments to him next time I see one of his videos: has anyone from his work seen these videos? That's what I want to know. Because think about it, he's posting his work online. Like it's not that serious, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm sure some people don't want the whole world to know their car is being repoed.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
but his thing is like, take it up with the bank.
No,
if your shit's getting repossessed, take it up with the bank. Take it up
with China.
Yeah, take it up with the bank. Take it up with TikTok. It's not my fault. I'm here doing my job. It just happens to be recorded.
Yeah, it's absolutely outlandish, but man, crazy things happening on the internet.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
Yeah, so we'll see if this brings DaBaby back legitimately.
Okay, hold on. Before we do, this is how we'll really see. Let's do a check before we get out here of like where this song is on Billboard right now.
Right. So we're gonna see if this brings DaBaby back into the consciousness because he's been dropping music. But it's like a pin drop, you're not really hearing it. But this is the first time. Legitimately we're like, oh, DaBaby's like kind of back.
Okay, so as of now, this is the week of May 20th, which is this week.
Yep.
92.
Yeah.
So it's at number 92, 1 week on the chart. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll do a chart check next week.
Yes, we'll do a chart check and we'll see how it goes.
Right, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so thank you everybody for tuning into Soundbites 50 to accompany our album mode 50. We're talking about Illmatic. We'll see if DaBaby can come back. We'll see how. I want to hear from people in the comments, whichever comments, how much 90s artists have endured. We'll see like who's made it out of the 90s to the current day, who didn't and kind of just got left there but was hot at the time. I want to hear about that. Because I can think of like even from the 2010s, like Migos is kind of 2010s and they kind of didn't really fully escape it.
Yeah.
So there are artists like that. I feel like in every decade. So I want to hear what those artists are like. Like AZ. AZ is crap.
AZ didn't make it to the 90s.
Yeah, AZ is kind of just there and forever there. So thank you everybody for listening to Soundbites, the segment of Album Mode where we're talking about the culture, the music in the culture. And make sure you follow us. Follow us on TikTok at Album Mode Pod. Follow us on Twitter at Album Mode Pod. Instagram at Album Mode Pod. You'll see, I'm sure I'll have the lower third coming across right now with my name and ads. Same thing with Adriel. I try to make sure I do that every single time. Intro and outro, okay? Not everybody does it in the outro, but we're doing it in the outro as well. And I want to say thank you, everybody, for listening to us, following us, everything. Following us on the journey. We're at the beginning. This is a new era where we're all video. It's like a legit thing now. So thank you, everybody. And make sure you know yourself and know your worth.
Later days.